Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to tonight's session. Happy Monday afternoon, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. Welcome everyone. Give me a sound check when you get a chance. Hindsight. Hey everybody. Hey Stuart, how are you? So welcome everyone. I hope you are doing well and that you had a good trading day today. We'll get started by taking a look at the open positions. Are there any new members today? If there are, I usually like to make a couple of posts just in case you are new. Um, just this one, and then I think this one about the tracking spreadsheet. Okay? If you're new, make sure to read what I just posted later on. It's got a few links, and if you're not, then you can just totally ignore. We had a good day today because of the ACAD. That was pretty nice. I told you this was bearish, right? Now, it's not because the daily was so good, it's because the monthly was great, right? Monthly was great. Got to target 1 already. Target 2, who knows? I mean, really, target 2 could see $5. It does have 3 red bars on the monthly chart to support. So it might bounce for a little while, but I think the top is in and the base cracked, or the stock basically cracked today. So I do think even if it rallies over the coming days, weeks, it should continue lower. All right. How many people were in it? ACAD today. Very nice. Even if it wasn't gapping to target, it gapped to target. But even if it didn't, I would have taken half. You know why? Because I'm still, the HRTX left a bad taste in my mouth, right? So I'm glad this one gap to target made it easy for me to decide to take, right? To take half. So how many people were in the ACAD? Of course, I only want you to say yes if you're on. I mean, if that was true. But I thought we had a number of people in it. Uh, I'm noticing that there's only 27 members logged in. That's kind of weird. Typically we have a lot more, so maybe there's something going on, but it's okay. So anyways, I just hope some of you are in it. I know at least one person is in it, right? David, that's your kind of play, isn't it? Long-term play, right? But it's all right. We'll catch another one. Hopefully we'll catch some more. Yeah, not a problem. You know what made it good is also we did an add and reduce, right? The initial entry here and then the add and reduce. So it's pretty good today, the ACAD. But it's all right. We'll again, like I said, we'll find another one. I'm sure of it. Other open positions. This RYAM, I know this would have taken off already if it weren't for the market, but we have to take things as they are, not as we would like them to be. Not a problem. Like I said, if you missed it, don't worry about it. I'm sure at some point we'll get another one. We'll find another one. Earnings season is starting, by the way, actually this week with the banks, I think this week. It won't get going until maybe not even next week, but the week after. But really, maybe next week should be good. I mean, the second half of next week should be pretty good already. And as you know, I do these earnings plays. So my goal is to start off really small, like maybe $5,000 per play, and only increase, and I'll increase dramatically. I'll go to 50. If this earnings season, I mean, if I see the plays, last earnings, I couldn't find anything good, and I ended up taking a few really questionable ones. But overall, it was like a break-even earnings season last quarter. This earnings season, I'm going to start off really small, and then almost immediately go up to full share size if the plays are there. And we get, we get the gaps in our favor like we did in October, November of last year. Okay. So this is, this is going to be a busy, really busy month for me, but I hope, I hope for the better, right? So the RYAM, I raised the stop to here to 2015 rather than 1915, but I wouldn't want to really get taken out by, we already have two red bars, so I wouldn't want to get taken out through through another red bar here, only to see it bounce off of the 20. So I may bring the stop, lower the stop again to 1915. But this is kind of a breakout failure so far. It's just that it's going to be right into the 20 MA. It'll be the third red bar in a row almost. So RYAM, geez. Again, it would be way up there if it weren't for the market. HRTX, we don't need to go over. Been in it from here. Took half, unfortunately, there rather than up here. And in the back half still. ACAD, just the half. Two positions on the ACAD, the add and reduce and the original position, and half. And then EQT, still an open play. Can lower the stop to, this got pretty sloppy, unfortunately. Can lower the stop on the back half to 49.06. Let's see what the average on. Okay, the average is 47.87, so average price. So it will be negative. The original stop, I believe, was 49.85. So we'll reduce the stop to 49.06 on the EQT. And PIR, I killed half. I don't really honestly remember when I killed half. I don't remember if it was that day. I think it was that day. I was out this weekend, so I didn't get the chance to update the spreadsheet as far as I update the tracking every weekend. Well, this weekend I was out of town, so didn't get the chance to look at my exits and my trades from the prior week. I do it every weekend, but not this weekend. This looks good, by the way, short. It's just that the market, right now, the market is everything. In fact, I can't find a lot of good setups because they get destroyed every day with the big moves the market puts in. Look at this. And that's a big move. And then, one big green bar, one big red bar. So I'm not able, so the PI triggered in, and then the market, look, what day was this? 4/4, right? April 4th. Let's see what the Qs did on April 4th. That was it. See? So it looked great, triggered short, and then the market decided to put in an $6 bar. $6 bar from low to high, and it closed at the highs, and it opened at the lows. So that's what happened with the PI. But looking good, maybe we can add to it, figure out a way to go back in full. So this one I have, okay, should have 650 shares, but I have 600. So we'll see. Those are the open positions. I had a call today on the edge, and I canceled it. I'll reactivate it for tomorrow. When I canceled it, the edge was downtrending on the smaller time frames. Didn't really like it, but if it takes out 118, I like it. I'll go ahead and make that a call for tomorrow. Either way, even if I didn't cancel it, it didn't trigger today. This is similar to, you can see the hourly chart, similar to the TTPH, I believe. Remember the TTPH on the breakout? It's the same kind of a play. I'm wondering why I can't go back further. Okay, 35 days, that's probably why. Let's go 75. So that's the TTPH. What was nice about the TTPH is it broke down and then it gapped up and it got halted by that 20 MA. So, and here is, and I guess a pretty long base. That was the entry and the stop there, and then and just went crazy, right? And then on the edge, let's take a look. It's similar. It's the same, really the same setup. Just open this up. it'll be above this pivot. The one thing I don't like about it is we still have this whole area of resistance above. So that's the only issue. Long, and then can use this as a stop. Really can use this. I think my call, the stop was 95. So if we were to look at this as a stop, what would this be? 105. Wow. I mean, 118 by 105. Let's see. I just want to take a look one more time. Could do half and half, right? Half under 105. If I don't open the chart up, you can't read it. I mean, see this? You can't even see it. So you'd have to go with the lows, daily lows. And if I open it up like this, would we be able to see that there's kind of a pivot? Notice also that the 20 MA is going through price rather than below it. So I'll go ahead and stick with 95, but you can, if you want a tighter stop, to use 105. That really makes it an extremely tight stop. From 118 by 95 versus 118 by 105. Wow. I mean, that cuts it in half, more than half. If we were to pull up the TTPH one more time and see what kind of a moving average we had, I believe it was better. But we'll open it up. Just like, see? Better. It was going through it and then it got halted right here, rising 20. So back to the edge, just to see. Oops. Okay, here it is. If it can base tomorrow, would be ideal. Up here, without coming in, without dropping below 109. If it can just base right here, it would be perfect. So that's actually going to be my favorite play for tomorrow. I don't have a good watch list. I scanned the entire stock universe. I even went down all the way to 300,000 shares per day average. I don't like to trade the thin stocks, but I just am not finding a lot of good setups. I'm not finding a lot of good setups. Hey, Rick, what parameters? To tell you the truth, I keep it simple. I scan all US common stocks trading above $1 in price, doing over 500,000 shares in volume per day. That's it. And I primarily scan for two patterns. Primarily. Well, I scan for buy setups at the rising 20. Primarily again, and then breakouts. And sell setups and breakdowns. Now my trading is completely based off of the basic unit, right? Which is a core concept that we teach at T3. So I play the transition A. B is if it goes climactic only. C is the same as A. That's C. That's A. That's B. And then D is the same as B. So you don't really have to look at the second half of this basic unit. And then this is stage 2, the uptrend. This is where I look for the pullbacks or the breakouts. That's it, pretty much. There's a couple other strategies. One is called the earnings strategy, and then another one is called the gap strategy, right? So this would be a gap strategy, a gap fade strategy. Now, if you're not familiar with the strategies, you gotta watch or at least review the manual. If you're not familiar with what I do exactly, because every strategy, there's a chapter on every strategy that I do with tons of charts. And it's really easy to just go through them, makes perfect sense. Not a lot of, the manual is not very wordy. It's more chart based, so you can just look at the charts and then immediately understand what I'm talking about. But again, my strategies are based on the basic unit, with two exceptions being the gap strategy and the earnings strategy. And the main patterns that I look for are either pullbacks or base breakouts. The main two patterns. All right. Okay, and I use TC2000 to scan for stocks. I don't use a scanner, even though I have a scanner that's designed specifically to look for the patterns that I look for, that I trade. It's just of no use. It's a waste of time. So I prefer to scan manually, and I go through my charts one at a time using TC2000. Initially, I do it on the daily chart, and then I just flag the ones that I like. Once I'm done, I copy the entire list and I look at it on multiple time frames, one at a time. Then I come up with my daily watch list. From the daily watch list, I drop down to, I come up with the favorites, and then I review the favorites one more time to generate the ideas. Um, there are archived sessions that I did that explains the scanning that I do, because obviously, if this is your first time listening to or to me talk about scanning, you probably, it's very hard to picture all of what I just told you. Your head is probably spinning. But that's why trading isn't that easy. I mean, it's simple. There's two directions, right? Up, down. But I personally trained uh, professional poker players. When I say professional poker, I mean ranked number 3 at some point, number 7 in the world. Two of them, and they both said trading is a lot harder than poker. Not because of there's two directions, up and down, but the routine, the process, there's a lot more involved in it than in poker, even though the psychology is similar. But there's a lot to it, and anybody that approaches it kind of uh, in a, I don't know what to call it, like a shoot from the hip approach, is destined to fail, unfortunately, doomed to fail. That's why I don't really teach this to family and friends, because most of them they're not serious about it. They just want to make money. They're not really serious about the process. I just tell them, nope, I'm not going to teach you. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily watch list. Let's actually look at the market. So here's the problem with the market. We are getting zero follow through. I mean zero follow through. The weekly is damaged, for sure is damaged. If the market wants to undo the damage, all it has to do is just print one green bar, and then we would have one nice reference point, another pivot that's actually higher than the prior pivot. That's all it would have to do. So I can't say that the weekly uptrend is over, because all it would need to do, again, just one big green bar here. End of game as far as bearish bias. I don't want the market to be bullish, to tell you the truth. It's a lot easier in terms of the environment when the market is bearish to trade. But I don't want to get too bearish too quickly. Again, it is a bit damaged. We are under the 20 and basing under the 20. If we are really bullish, what happens is you drop below the 20 and then you snap right back. Look here. You don't need to believe me. When you're still bullish, you drop below it and you snap right back. What's going on here? Drop below it, couldn't move up. This is the third week below the 20, or yeah, this is just the second week, 2 weeks, because today is the first day of the week. So it's looking very, very shaky long term. And then the monthly, I mean, let's admit it, that's a bit climactic. Market doesn't really go as climactic as the individual stocks, with one exception being the tech bubble in 2000, the year 2000. But it doesn't go vertical like this typically. Review the prior tops. We never went vertical, again, with one exception. So this is looking a little bearish here, and lower to 140 to the 20 MA on the monthly chart. Probably that's what's happening. That's probably what's happening. Makes it for a very, very difficult swing environment, because all we get is one red bar, green bar, red bar, small red bar, green bar. See what I mean? Red bar, green bar, or doji bar, green bar, red bar. So we're not getting follow through. So it's tough. I'll take a look at the Dow Jones. I wonder what the ticker is for the Dow Jones. I can just look at the DW, DOW? Is that the, no, DWJ? No, DJW? What's the ETF for the Dow Jones? DIA, geez. Yeah, market, I mean, that's pretty climactic. That's even as an individual stock, I would say that's climactic. But of course, we don't have a huge wide range bar. We don't have a huge volume bar, but still, a little bit climactic. And then the SPY, yeah, same. Not as extended though as the Dow Jones. DJ, DIA, I always forget. Yeah, not as extended. And then the Qs, right? The Qs is probably the most bearish, only because of the breakout failure here. You might not see it or recognize it as a breakout failure, but it's a little bit of a breakout failure. What would be great, not that I want to be bullish, again, not that I want the market to be bullish. What would be great is to move up and then fail. Then we would have a focal point to work with. Right now, every day I'm uneasy about being bullish or bearish because I'd like just to move up so we can say, okay, that's a real significant reference point. If we take it out, all out bearish, but we're not moving up very much. So, okay. But if we can move up, it would be so easy because then, then this becomes a significant reference point. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. We take it as a day trader, you take it one day at a time. But as a swing trader, I mean, I don't have a lot of positions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna take it easy. Also, we have earnings season coming up. AKG for tomorrow looks higher over. I think I had an idea on it, not an official call. Over 99. Maybe I typed it over $1. I don't know, but over 99, right? 99 cents. Stop 90 or 89. So pretty good. Looks good. If it can clear the highs tomorrow, okay? AKG to the favorites. It's a $1 stock though. A&W is a transition A on the daily chart. Looks good on the hourly too. Issue is, pinpoint the exact entry. It's hard. Where's the exact entry? Is it here? Over 40. And then you still have this. Is it over 45? Then you still have this, 50. And the more you give it, the later you are getting into the play. The bigger the stop, the smaller the target. So it's not an easy call. Typically, what I do is I either go with the tightest stop or the widest, right? But I don't go with the in-between. The in-between accomplishes nothing. The tighter stop or the tighter entry accomplishes something, which is you get the smallest stop with the highest reward to risk. The widest, if you wait for the whole thing, let's say, to get taken out, right? Then what you accomplish is you get confirmation, absolute confirmation. The downside is big stop. The in between, what does it accomplish? Nothing. Does that make sense? So when you have 3 reference points or 3 entries, let's say, that you're considering, is it here? Should it be here? Should it be there? Should it be up here? Then again, either the tightest or the widest, or you can do half and half. Does that make sense? But don't use the middle. Typically, don't use the middle. Think about it. Should make sense. It's logical. So that's the A and W. Looks good, but I doubt that I'll be playing it. Again, I doubt that I'll do anything other than maybe the AKG and Edge. Also, I like the Edge. CI topped out. I don't have. I'm not. I feel confident it topped out, right, on the larger time frames. What an unbelievable move, by the way. Just these moves, just unbelievable. $8 to 200 to 227 from low to high. So for now, at least, I think topped out. I don't mean that it topped out, it can't bounce. What I'm saying is probably topped out, bounces a little bit, and then fails, okay? But check this out. Beautiful monthly, isn't it? Minor support, rising 20. And why do I think it topped out? Because of the bearish way in which it pulled back. Typically, the ones that are still bullish, they don't do this. But again, it could have a small bounce first, or a sizable bounce, and in which case that would be the entry over the base. Stop either under the base or under this secondary base, with the entry being right here. Looks pretty. It does look pretty. And hey, what if I'm wrong and this was not really the top, this was just a pullback? Then you got in on a swing entry. You got into a core play on a swing entry off the daily chart. Would be really, really good. Edge, we talked about it plenty already. So over 118 tomorrow, I did cancel it from my what do you call it? From my I mean I canceled the order also. 1 second, please. Okay, I just resubmitted the order real quick. So Edge F-Cell. I've been watching this F-Cell for a long time, and it doesn't look good for tomorrow, but I feel the F-Cell is higher long term. I feel that the F-Cell is higher long term. It's extremely difficult on the monthly chart, to play long after this big run up to the declining 20, but I have a hunch it's higher long term. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the list for tomorrow because it's already got 3-4 green bars in a row. Fossil is a weekly buy setup and kind of a daily 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been watching the fossils ever since that big gap up. So you got a weekly buy setup, tough monthly, and for that reason, I am not going to play the fossil. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. FTR possibly bottomed. Check out the monthly. I mean, that's a fantastic monthly chart. Climactic. Look at the weekly. Transition A. But it's not perfect. And daily, wouldn't know how to play it, honestly. So I'll go ahead and take it off the list for tomorrow. But keep an eye on the FTR if you're interested. IDT is a transition A on the hourly chart after a big gap, after a big sell-off. A gap down and a big sell-off. So this would be a transition A on the hourly chart. It's all right. Don't like it that much. IQ is an IPO. All the IPOs recently, I think all of them with no exceptions, got sold hard, which is another sign that the market topped out. Usually IPOs get bought. They don't get sold. Usually, with some exceptions. Recently, I can't think of a single IPO that got bought on the IPO day and the following days. So there's a base breakout on the IQ with a stop right here. It's not bad. It's not bad. And in Legacy, this was a phenomenal monthly chart breakout. It still looks higher, over $5. Over 5, stop 411, big stop. Target would be the 200 MA on the weekly. So where is that? Let me just take a look. Legacy, right? $6 minimum, so it doesn't have the R to R. Doesn't have high reward to risk, but looks higher. Can use this as a stop. 436 rather than 411. NFX, another oil stock, transition A on the daily chart, but it doesn't really look that good on the larger time frames. Weekly doesn't look great. Monthly doesn't look good. So up to you. I'm gonna be taking it easy until we get through earnings season. NVTA is I'm not sure, breakout on the data chart. Hourly is what's really nice. NVTA, nice hourly breakout, but daily lacks a setup. PPL, is PPL oil also? I think it is, but I believe it is, and it looks similar to the NFX transition A on the daily chart. Oh, it's not. It's REIT maybe then. Is it REIT or PA utility? Ah, okay. Got it. Okay, not a problem. So it's a daily transition A on the daily chart. RAD, if it can clear 167, the double top, transition A. Obviously, when we are playing transition A plays, we like the 20 MA to have curled already, right? So we don't have that, but we will have a nice double top failure right here. And what is nice about it is we got a nice big barrel bar, narrow body bar. So RAD over 167, possible long. A smart, possible long over the base. Looks kind of good. SMRT. The problem with it is this day we got to the target. We gapped from 76 cents and rallied to 245. Just crazy. RAD earnings on the 12th. Got it. So that's Thursday. That's too too soon. I mean, it's just going to be a few days later, so it wouldn't be worth getting in, I don't think. So this one got to the target already. So that's my biggest issue with it. SO is another utility, I believe, as a base breakout. Notice the utilities are okay, Tom. Well, it looks kind of good, SMRT. Notice the utilities have transition A setups. I mean, that's a very, very nice base on the weekly chart, on the daily chart. What's bad about it, the same with the other utilities, is the larger time frames. That's not a very good weekly chart, declining 20 above. Right? PCG triggered today. I believe it triggered today, but same issue. It was on the daily watch list. I didn't do it. Looks great, right? Look at this. I mean, how would you feel? How would I feel, you think? How would I feel if I took it and it stopped out? I wouldn't feel very good because I saw that it was right into the declining 20 on the weekly and I played it. So so that's the issue. It looks great on the daily. I hope it works out for you, but I personally can't do these because it hurts my psychology when they fail, if they fail. SO similar. Beautiful daily, but weekly is horrible. Spot, another IPO that's kind of doing a base breakout. What I like about the IPOs is when they go, oh my God, did they go? Man, you could make a lot of money just playing IPOs. I've never really tried to get into the IPO game, but it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different way to trade. But I do think there's potential. And then SPOT long, maybe stop right here, about a $5 stop, it looks like. Tahoe's interesting. Check out the Tahoe weekly chart. I mean, that's a beauty on the weekly time frame, over $5. Stop 450. Yep, 450. That's a beauty, honestly. This is oil. I mean, that looks good. I'm going to probably play the Tahoe if it triggers. I haven't decided if it's going to be $5 or 507 or where the exact entry is. See, if you zoom out a little bit, that's 506, 507, I think. 506, that's below. 509. We don't like to wait for too long. This is interesting, guys. Look at the wide range bar, the volume, and look at the quiet volume while the stock is basing. Wide range bar, no follow through. Very, very nice weekly chart. You know what the problem is? Monthly, not a lot of room. Gets to, let's say, 650. Okay, yeah, thanks, Tom. It's metals rather than oil. So looks good, but monthly also is not very good. It does have 2 to 1. Let's say it has 2 to 1. So I do like the Tahoe. Maybe over 510. Okay. VRA, it's tough to get in it up here. So maybe on a pullback. At the same time, it's just triggered that weekly buy setup. Could just keep going. VRA. Let's see. VRA. Do I want to keep it on the list for tomorrow? Yeah, I'll keep it on the list. If it breaks above the highs, possible. VSTO, I hesitated a little bit because it was far away from the 20. Didn't get it, but lovely weekly buy setup. I mean, just a beautiful weekly buy setup. Would love to see it come in a little bit and give me another buy setup. That would be phenomenal. That VSTO is one of my favorite long-term charts, at least weekly charts. Okay. AT&T and VZ, those are the defensive stocks, I think, right? Oh no, T, I think is AT&T is T. Yeah, but there's nothing good about them. They don't look good at all. So I'm gonna pass. Mining, okay, acquiring an oil, okay. So it is, I guess, in the oil sector. Shorts, ACXM, sell setup plus a 1, 2, 3 under 2260 right here, short, stop up here. Don't like it enough to do, I'm gonna pass. AKR looks great on the weekly chart. Really like the AKR. Daily doesn't give us doesn't have a great setup, does it? But looks great on the weekly chart. This is the sort of stuff that I find all the time and I end up missing out on because I don't do it, right? Can try it tomorrow, right here, short. Stop right there. Okay, can try it right here, stop right there at 25. Why? Because look at that phenomenal weekly chart. Sell setup, and you didn't do the first sell setup, which had low odds of working. You'd be doing the second sell setup here. So it's pretty interesting. AKR, ALDR, sell setup. Sloppy, but sell setup. Would need to take out 1235. AXGN is one of the climactic watches that is on my watch list, right? Climactic monthlies. Got the biggest volume, and I feel that it put in the top. Well, I don't know if it put in the top, but if it did, here's an entry under 36.80.65. Stop 38.15. It's an idea. AXON, right? AXGN. Bad hourly chart, but possible climactic sell setup on the monthly chart. It's a really outstanding chart. And I like the daily setup. When I look at the hourly, I just have to shake my head because I don't think I can do this short. Look, if it opens flat tomorrow, right here, it prints red bars, multiple red bars in a row to the entry, to support, to 100 MA, So I'm gonna let it go, and maybe it does something like this, and I can short it right here. So for now, I'm letting it go. AXON, I had the short. Hard to believe I got shaken out, but I had it short. I didn't call it because I had it as an idea. I probably posted it as an idea, but I didn't call it because I didn't want to wake up one day and find a huge gap. And it's one thing when it's just me playing it, and I can take the pain. I've been doing this for a long time, but I didn't want other people to get hurt with me. So I thought it looked good, but I got shaken out. It looks good still lower. AXON under $1.15 by 129, 114. It already triggered today. Looks good. Bank is possible short 1, 2, 3. Okay, not bad. And then BDN, I don't remember. Basing at the lows, looks lower, but too sloppy for me. Ben this wasn't a real gap, so it's hard to read the chart, knowing that this was, I think, a special dividend or something. Looks lower, doesn't it? Hourly, daily. BXP, lower high, and a weekly sell setup, and a monthly transition C. Look at this. Similar to the ACAD to some extent, isn't it? Similar a little bit to the ACAD. and you're getting a nice entry here off the daily into that monthly sell setup. Wow. Into that monthly transition C. Into a transition C on the monthly chart. So pretty interesting on the BXP as a core short. I don't know if I have this on my core watch list. Is it? Let me just take a look. It's not. I need to add it. BXP. So nice core off the monthly. We were looking at the car as a long based on the monthly buy setup, but we had reason to suspect that it would fail because of the way it topped out, right? If you remember, it was a major gap down. See this? Typically, there's no recovery after a gap down like this. Stock doesn't just go back up, and especially when the stock had gone vertical prior to the gap, which means tons of money poured into the stock to make it do this from 18 to 28, and then it gaps down and everybody now is trapped. I mean, that's millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars, or hundreds probably. And not shares, but dollars that are now underwater. And so in any kind of a move up, they unload some probably. So it failed and now looks lower. Cara, C-A-R-A. Look at this daily chart. Looks good. The sloppiness is off the chart, meaning it's really sloppy. There's also another one that I like, but I played it twice, and I think twice, or maybe more than twice, 3 times, and every time I played it, I lost money. It just hasn't followed through so far. I liked it because it was a I was watching it as a climactic, and then it just out of nowhere kind of fell. So here it is. That was the first stop. And then, okay, watching it short. And then, I don't know where. Oh, there. So I've been watching it ever since. I mean, I've been watching it for about a year almost, I think. And so I like it short. I played it twice or 3 times, I don't remember. And every time I lost money. Like it lower, tough monthly chart, but I do think it topped out. Went also totally vertical. Just a very difficult monthly chart. So Cara and Massey, M-A-S-I. This is too late. CLDR. Nice hourly. That's probably why I have it on the watch list for tomorrow. Very nice hourly. Base breakdown. A little late on the daily. CLNS, we were in this and then got trailed out right here, I think. Looks good for tomorrow. In fact, I think it was on today's list. So I'm going to add it to the favorites. This is the CLNS. I'll add it to the favorites for tomorrow. Short, reshort, possible reshort. Actually triggered today under 50. See how it already took out 50? That's 50. That should have been the entry. Stop over 79. Not bad. I do like the CLNS lower. CLNS. I can get it in the after hours probably if I really, really want it. It's interesting. I'm putting it on the favorites. And then Khan. I had it on the daily watch list a couple days ago. In fact, this was my best play. Was it? On Friday. I just traded in the morning on Friday and I had to leave early. And I think this was my best day trade, that is, not swing trade. I didn't do it swing trade, but it was on the daily watch list because this was almost a tier 1 gap down that didn't go anywhere. So that's when I watched them the next day, right? When it's a really good gap that doesn't go anywhere, then you would expect it to follow through the following day, right? And it still looks lower. I should take it off the list because it's too late, but definitely topped out, looks lower to minimum. That rising 20 on the monthly chart looks like about 20 bucks, maybe. So it looks lower. Con. I like the way it trades. I know, I just like that I could read level 2 a couple days on it. A fit, nice looking sell setup on the daily chart, like a lot, but the hourly isn't yet lined up or in alignment with the with the daily. Short should be right here, but you never know how it sets up tomorrow. It could go sideways, you know. I mean, so that's why I'm going to keep it on the list. Like it short right here, stop right there. Big stop. Big stop. GNC. Made a mistake not doing it. I think I made a mistake. The same with the BW because of the reward to risk, but what I didn't take into account that this could drop below the prior low. Still looks lower, but it's going to be hard to now get it. Much more difficult. INOV is a base breakdown on the daily chart. Too sloppy for me. ITI 123 short is not very good. Man H is a daily sell setup. It's alright. Just a nice looking daily sell setup. Massey we talked about 123 short. You'd be getting into a long-term play. Newer was a mistake not to have played it long. Was a big mistake. See it? Igniting gap, base, breakout. Similar to the, I showed it to you just a couple of days ago, but I don't remember the symbol. QHS? Q, does anyone know what it is? What that symbol is? GH? No, I don't remember, but it's exactly the same as newer. Rallied actually better. Did go sort of climactic, printed the biggest green bar the chart has ever seen. Well, except for the igniting bar, the first one, and then the ending, the exhaustion bar, the last one here. So nice monthly climactic sell. Weekly is pretty good. Daily is a transition A. It's not easy. Today's list is not easy at all. NLNK is a 123, looks lower. Pack B is a sell setup. Hourly is still kind of uptrending. I'd let it go and then do the next entry. But I do like the pack B. It's weak on every time frame, especially the weekly chart, the monthly chart looks good lower. PI is the one that I'm in half. I'm going to see if I can go full. I don't think I'm going to be able to. The entry off the day would be under 1248, but off the hourly chart, it's just not very good. So I'm going to let it go for now. Sifli, minor sell setup, if you dare. I don't typically dare to play the Sifli short. Switch looks good if it can fail on the buy setup here. Looks good short, under 14.48. Stop 15.25. Should fall, I would say. But is it ready to go? I don't think so. Switch under 14.48. I can put it on the favorites. I don't have a good watch list here. SWCH. TTPH, we talked about it as when we played it long here. It does have a weekly sell setup. Very, very nice weekly sell setup. Is it ready? I don't think so. Why? 20 MA is still bouncing. We have support also below. So ideally, you want to see it drop and then base and then lower. That would be ideal. So I'm going to pass on I'm going to take it off the list, but I'm watching the TTPH for a nice weekly sell setup here. But again, don't think it's ready. Wage is a 123. It looks lower. WageWorks. That's a company I think that's headquartered in the Bay Area. I mean, close to where I live. 41.90. Stop over 43.50. 123. That went totally climactic. So not too sure. Wow looks lower. Just all out bearish. Look at the larger time frame. All out bearish. If you can figure out a way in the WOW, then sure. Otherwise, it doesn't have a great entry. And then WTW, also another stock that I believe topped out. Here's the monthly. Up 700%, 800 almost from just here. Looks lower to me. Weekly, tough. Daily, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes stocks set up nice and easy, and sometimes it's an awful way that they go. Like, look at this stock. Look at this, gapped up, and the gap got buried. And then entries, there was a sell setup, but I believe it failed. Yes, it failed. And then it worked, and then it dropped. I don't know. I'm just saying sometimes the way the stock sets up, it is nearly impossible to play, and sometimes it's really easy. So this is an example of a stock that the way it's set up was very, very hard. So that's my watch list for tomorrow. I'll take a look at the HAL and the EXO and HAL as a transition A on the daily. Don't think it's ready. Also damaged weekly under the 20 MA on the weekly. And then XOM, I think, as in Mary. Yeah, damaged monthly looks lower, probably, but right into the 200, right into prior support. Not too sure. I mean, I think XOM, XON, got it. I think XOM, Mary, Exxon Mobil, long term, I mean, these companies shouldn't be, the oil companies eventually, I think eventually, but we'll all be gone before they're gone. In 50 years from now, they won't be, it'll be like the blockbuster of all time, right? It's gone because new technology replaced it. So I think at some point all the oil companies have that fate. Okay. XON, very nice daily, horrible monthly, coming into the declining 20. XON, nice weekly also, extremely wild. I do remember the XON as an earnings play last quarter, but I mean, it was beautiful. Short, right? Yeah, anyways, I didn't hold it right. I didn't manage it right. So that was the bottom actually. So it looks higher on the daily. Again, bad weekly. Okay. Anything else you guys want me to look at? Let me know, please. Happy to look at whatever you got. I'm gonna copy this watch list and post it. And then Edge, I'll have a call on. And then the other ones, I'm not too sure yet. I'm gonna think about them once I get off the mic and then make a decision whether to play like the AKG, and mainly the Tahoe shorts. This is pretty good. CLNS. That's pretty good, I think. It triggered today already, so you'd have to do it tomorrow, right at the open, or under 48. Yeah, the CLNS looks good. At what point, hey Leonard, at what point did you take WDRF? It's still on the daily watch list. I believe it is. Let's take a look. The core watch list. Here it is. W, so it's got to be at the bottom. I meant WDR. WRD, I think it's WDR. WRD. Yeah, I meant WDR. That's the bank, right? WDR. Yeah, but it failed. So that was my bad. I meant WDR. Should be on the list, but it failed. Look, it hasn't failed 100%, but look. Transition A, right? I love that pattern. And pulling back too deep, retraced 100%. When it pulls back, it should stay at the minor support, like right about here. Now it's even breaking the 20. Retraced from here to there and back to here. That's almost 100%. So it's hasn't quite failed, but it's almost has. Okay. Weekly doesn't look good. Daily doesn't look good. So it's still on my list, but it's not very good. Okay. Okay. What parameters can be used when scanning for transition A stocks? What parameters? I don't know. I mean, it's a visual thing. it's not really, I can't give you the parameters. Transition A is nothing but a breakout. So what parameters can be used for scanning for breakout plays, right? It's the same. It's a base breakout. So here's how transition A happens. There's actually 3 different ways it happens. So here it is. You got a stock that's in a downtrend and then goes up and bases. And then you get the base breakout. Typically right off the rising 20 MA, or those are the ones that I like to do, right off the rising 20. That's the easiest way. Another way is you get the same thing, except it doesn't set up. I mean, it doesn't base. It just rallies a lot, breaks the long-term downtrend, and then pulls back to the rising 20 MA. So this is the buy setup. So again, it's either a buy setup, transitionary buy setup, or base breakout. One other way, I can come up with a couple more. One other way would be is sometimes you get a 1, 2, 3, like, downtrend, maybe a base, gaps up, and you get a 1, 2, 3. But it's the same. It's either a breakout or a transitionary buy setup. So, okay, I don't recommend necessarily automated scanning. I know we all want to save time, but scanning was the single most important exercise that I did over the past 10, 11 years now, because it trained my eyes. And I wasn't trying to train my eyes. I was just trying to find plays. And that's how I actually was able to learn how to read the charts. So I highly recommend manual scanning. I'm all for automation and being efficient, but trust me when I say this, those scanners don't find anything good, almost. Okay, and I have a specific scanner that's programmed to find patterns that are pristine patterns or T3 patterns, and it's still useless, waste of time for the most part. Okay. What I do recommend, if you don't have the time to do your own scanning and find plays, is at least scan the daily watch list. Every night I post it, or every morning when you wake up, just scan the daily watch list and ask yourself, why did Sammy put it on the list? Why is this on the list? What does he see in it? Right? And then when we do the sessions, if you're not sure why I put something on the list, then just ask me. But just scan the daily watch list. And the daily watch list is kind of the list, the final list that I come up with from my entire stock universe. So there's typically a reason why it made it to my daily watch list. Sometimes, like today, half of these are not good, really. They're not that good. But you never know what happens the next day and how they set up. So I prefer to put them on the watch list rather than to not watch them at all. But a day like today, yes, you might say, well, why is this on the list? Or why is, whatever. AKR, yeah, AKR, you should be able to see why it's on the list, right? Weekly sell setup. Or why is, let's just say, pick one, BXP. Oh, it's a daily sell setup, weekly sell setup, monthly transition A. Perfect, makes sense. Pick anything you want. It's got to be a reason, right? And if you can figure out the reason why it's on the list, oh my God, you'll learn a tremendous amount in a short amount of time without having to scan hundreds, if not thousands of symbols. I mean, I scanned 5,000 symbols this weekend. Okay. To come up with, well, not to come up with just these. I have a couple hundred, 300 other symbols that I'm watching. Daily watch list in the Google. Yes, daily watch list in the Google sheet. That's exactly right. The second tab. Just scan it every day. Make it a habit. And then you can initially scan the daily watch list. Then you can go a step further and say, oh, let me see if I can come up with my favorites. And let me compare my favorites to Sammy's favorites, because I come up with a favorites list So I don't leave you with just the daily watches because there's a lot. So I also come up with the favorites list. So, and then you can say, okay, I want to see if I come up with the same favorites. And then you take it a step further and say, down the line, say, I want to see which ones Sammy ended up playing from the favorites, because I don't play all the favorites, obviously. And I want to compare that to what I picked as the ones that should be played. I mean, how can you not improve if you do that exercise, if you earnestly, consistently do this exercise? How can you not improve in a matter of days, weeks? I'm not talking months, I'm not talking years. In a matter of weeks, how can you not improve? And what does it take? You're asked basically to scan 20, 30, 40 symbols at the most after the market close, right? So when we, most of us have a little bit of time at least. Okay, all right, so just an idea. ICPT, it's just gone. ICPT, I'll take a look at it. So what's the question? I don't think I do. Maybe it's still on the long-term watch list. I didn't update the long-term watch list this weekend. ICPT, it is on the long-term watch list still. Beautiful, beautiful weekly chart. This one just was impossible. I mean, I tried and I tried to figure out a way in here, but look what it did. No, not here. Here, isn't that where I got it? There, and I'm in, but then it stopped out. And no matter which pivot you used, if you use this, it stopped. If you use this, it stopped. So even if I had used this, which I didn't, 58.34. Well, it went to 20. No, to $58. So it's just, this was hard. The right thing would have been to get back in it, but it wasn't that easy. It's not like it pulled back to the rising 20 or it gave me a good entry. In fact, it gapped up after a green bar, if I recall correctly. See, it was not easy. But yeah, this one was tough. I like it still to get to the 20 MA on the monthly chart. So about $100, slightly less. Here, this low, $95, $96, right there. So that's where I think it's headed to, ICPT. But the ICPT is super wild. It doesn't adhere to the exact numbers, to the exact pivots, like I showed you here. Even this pivot with the wide range bar, 58.34, well, went to 58.03. So even if I had used this, because I didn't use this, I used one of these pivots here to stop out on it, to kill the play. All right. Again, it's like, stocks have, a lot of stocks have personality almost, like people. Some people are easy to deal with, and some people are just not very easy to deal with. And some stocks are easy. They give you easy patterns, easy entries, and some almost impossible. All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. Hope you enjoyed tonight's session. I will talk to you on Wednesday. Again, we are going to be starting earnings season, so I'll be posting the earnings plays starting either next week or the week after, probably next week. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.